Question. Could this sort of thing happen at your facility? Does it happen? We know it does. We looked at dozens of cases extremely similar to this. The script you just saw played out was put together based on a number of very, very similar cases. We know that situations like this happen all the time in VA medical centers. Now, let's break it down. Let's talk about how these things come to pass and how they get the way they are. Mark was efficient and polite in dealing with the veteran and the family member. Can we agree on that? He was being both efficient and polite as he dealt with him. But he failed to be effective. Why? That's why we call it a situation. Why? There are a number of reasons. What's your thought? You're probably way ahead of me here, but okay.
Well, she was ranting and he kept interrupting.
That's well, I think what Tomiko is trying to communicate here, what she's really saying, is that some of Mark's responses tended to inflame Harriet's mood rather than smooth things over. Is that kind of the sense of what you were hearing? Yeah, I think so. Okay.
He was doing what the rules said.
Exactly. Now let's take a look at it from the standpoint of assumptions on the part of each of the people involved here, and let's begin to take the concepts that Audrey has mentioned and that Tomiko has mentioned and see how those are related to those assumptions. I'm going to ask Jackie to come up and start with Harriet, and let's work through identifying what some of her assumptions were as she walked into the medical center this morning.
So, what do you think I walked in with?
I think you already were mad because of the diagnosis difference.
Right, so I would say that the docs at the VA are misdiagnosed. They don't.
Just not thinking that was bad practice or it probably didn't matter to them.
The VA doesn't care. Okay, VA doesn't care. This is my next. I assume that I could see the doctor.
I think you knew that you
weren't going to see it. Yeah, I never. VA doctors are never available. More. That's the point.
She thought that if you complained enough, you could make them do what you wanted.
Right. If you yell out, you have to, yell loud enough to get heard. Got to cause a fuss in order to get anything done. What about the doc? What about doctors in general at the
I think
VA?
you're also scared of the cop too.
Yeah.
So he,
Yeah, that's true.
well, I mean, the ethnicity issue.
Yeah.
But,
Maybe that all VA docs are
like,
foreigners.
you know,
All VA docs are foreigners.
or that or foreigners, yeah, doctors and foreigners. Why not military reasons and things like
And you had a negative attitude from the beginning.
Not going to be. Their
Your
staff is useless. The
Yeah.
frontliners are useless. Not going to get anywhere with this guy.
You came in already knowing that you wanted to get what you wanted, so you want to hire
Supervisor. If I get, you got to go to a supervisor if you want anything
but
done.
I'm gonna listen to Mark because he wasn't, I don't know.
And what
Yeah,
about?
I didn't feel, yeah.
And I went to my doc. I took him to see my doctor. So what is it saying about private sector? Private sectors
Better.
Private sector doctors are better than VA doctors.
And you felt, but like she said, you felt that Mark was not sufficient.
It's still, yeah, just policy.
Wanted to go over his head.
Yeah.
Well, I think you obviously, start looking down and use frontline personnel, it's not personnel, it's not
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to,
Are all of these real assumptions that you folks deal with all the time? Absolutely. Absolutely.
They're looking for, yes, what does it say on it? Who are you?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
You really know anything.
I mean, the idea of cultural bias, you run into that? You absolutely do. Happens all the time. Right? The idea that the VA doesn't care, thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
The VA doesn't care really about the person. You know, they're all about the policy.
Or lazy government employees.
Lazy government employees, right? I mean, all of these assumptions are at work. They misdiagnosed my dad. Private sector docs are better. All of these assumptions are in people's heads all the time when they walk in the door. And that's what colors the conversation. So how do you deal with that? We're going to talk about that. Let's move on from there to Mark. Now Mark, the front desk guy, comes to work this morning. Now this is before he meets Harry.
Yeah. So walking in that morning, what expectations, assumptions might Mark have about his job, his capabilities, etc.? All about.
Probably assumed he was gonna have.
Yeah, why not?
You're the best in the world.
That's right. There you go. World quality health care, absolutely.
See what happens when you live with the man of full
Say again?
I have the answer.
I have the answers. My training is know what I'm doing?
Do you have an assumption that what's gonna happen, what's gonna go wrong today, you learn with that frontline person?
It's possible, yeah.
Kind of like,
You don't know.
Yesterday it was this, and what's
Yesterday
gonna
was
happen
this,
today?
today is, let's assume he's a positive guy and he's going to look at it in a positive way. So this is what he has walking in.
I would assume that you already know that some of the policies are not necessarily as effective to the veteran as they should be, so you already know that you're gonna run into some problems.
Yeah, there certainly have been problems in the past.
And I think we care about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give the vets the care that they deserve, and I think what he's trying to do in the scene is to do just that. Treating the patient and the family member with respect, very much so.
And empathy, keep that.
And empathy, yeah. But the family members don't know, if they come in and expect to see a doctor out of nowhere and he's not here, that's not possible. So how do you deal with that, the lack of knowledge?
And you try to speak directly with the vet as opposed to the family.
Yeah, the family member can be a good thing and can be a block.
Yeah, let's go to that, Mark, because that's the very next thing anyway.
What positive assumptions might the clerk have regarding the family members? The family member would be, in a positive sense, what?
Support system.
Support system for the vet in terms of communication.
May have been a little bit more knowledgeable about.
Right. Sometimes the family member will say things the vet doesn't say themselves, doesn't want to say, doesn't think to say, so you give us more information. Other positive assumptions about the family member? She cares, obviously she cares about her dad. She's concerned about his health and well-being. She feels he may have been diagnosed, misdiagnosed, that's important.
Now, do any of Mark's positive assumptions about himself, his own capabilities, or the value of family members coming in with the vet, does any of that stand a chance against this?
No.
This is a freight train here, folks. And after one 3-minute transaction, it's a whole different ballgame. But before we talk about the aftermath, let's move to the other key player in this scenario, and that would be Amir.
So what are some assumptions Amir has before this incident about Mark, about his front line?
My thing is really employee and proud of his knowledge and skills.
Yeah, Amir probably thinks he's a good employee and he's proud of it. Right?
Or the opposite.
Why do you say?
Why did you talk down to him? Automatically. You could have had preconceived ideas about his work performance, or maybe this has happened before.
Okay, and that's absolutely fair. And that's what we saw in the scene. Let's go before that scene happened. Okay, before he even got a call from Mark. The day starts. All right, Mark's down there. What's he thinking about Mark? Because you're absolutely right. That he's capable. And the point is, why does he think that? Why does he most likely think positive things about Mark? Because he put him in that position. Absolutely. And no supervisors are going to put someone down there that they don't expect to do the right thing. He's the face of the organization, right? So Amir's thinking some pretty positive things. That he's capable, that that he can handle his job, right? He's going to treat the customers, the veterans, and their family members with respect, because he's here to help the vets. Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's all before Harriet walks in, all right? Now, Harriet has been in after one 3-minute conversation. After one 3-minute conversation, everything changes. When Harriet walks out, is she still thinking all of this? Sure she is. That the VA docs don't care? She didn't even see a doctor. Is she thinking that the docs are never available? Hello? She can see one. Is she thinking she's got to yell to get results? Well, she yelled, she got results, at least some results. That they've misdiagnosed her father? That's still there. All the VA docs are foreigners? All the ones she knows. That's her experience. Frontliners are useless? That got reinforced. Private docs are better? There was no argument about that. Okay, and the VA is all about policy. That's all she kept hearing about. I can't do this, I can't do that. Amir now leaves this situation. All his positive assumptions about Mark are pretty much gone. He walks down the hall, bumps into another supervisor, Sherry, and Sherry says, hey, Mark, what happened with Mark, or Amir, what happened with Mark? I've helped us this morning. Amir's going to say what? He's going to say, Sherry, I tell you, Mark was, he was what?
Yeah,
He was out of line. He was rude. He walked off the job.
Yeah, I think
That's
the
what I'm
interaction
talking
with
about,
him was
by the
the problem,
way.
but I don't think that he took that assumption about his interaction with Harry. I mean,
Say that again.
I said, I think Mark's interaction with you was the disservice, but I don't think that you actually saw Mark's interaction with Harry as a problem. I think your focus, unfortunately, was trying to solve the crisis. And you had to kind of deliver or hold Mark back, because if you turned to give him an opportunity to speak, it would have been even from Harry.
Okay, and here's a key point. The assumption underlying Amir's not letting Mark speak is that Mark was part of causing this problem, and now I'm here to make it right. If you had done what you should have done in the first place, I wouldn't even be here. Okay? It would have been handled. So there's a tacit assumption there that he comes in with the notion that obviously my person has messed up here. Otherwise, I
Well, I
wouldn't have
can
been
see that
involved.
until shut in the mouth. And
Right.
I think that would be done.
Well, if Amir's a reasonable guy and you're very optimistic, I would say
I mean,
yes.
I'd say, it's, hold on, something happened here that was probably not my employee that I know's fault. And I want to hear a side of it, but I can't do that while she's standing there.
And that could very well be, absolutely. I think one of the keys is at the end of things, when he has a chance to talk to Mark.
Right, that's
How
where,
it
that's
ends
what,
up.
that's what things fall apart.
And then you see where Amir's assumptions have gone, and when he says, you know, you've done all this right, how can she be so upset? You know, so then you can see the assumption that I don't think he did everything right. You know, and that's what it was really fall apart to.
Exactly, exactly. But still, if somebody else asks him what happened, he's going to have a story. And so now he's out in the medical center, kind of poisoning the well where Mark is concerned, isn't he? Does that happen?
The long part, I remember the part where he's trying to talk to him and he's upset when he walks off.
Mhm.
He's not gonna remember the part where he kept holding him back from, telling
In
him
front of the
what happened.
veteran?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he didn't say, my employees were capable, I'm sorry what is happening.
Right.
He never smoothed that part over either.
Never did.
Hurting him.
Never did.
I'll fill in the blanks with his assumption of that.
Right.
Sure.